Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first of a series of 3 episodes that we are talking about how to protect, or tools that help you protect your children's activity online, or help you protect yourself and your family when dealing with the internet and online content. So in this first episode, what I'd like to talk about is a really nice service called OpenDNS that allows you to set filters for what is allowed inside your home network. Um, Basically, what we're going to try to show is how you can filter out inappropriate material from coming into your network in the first place. So if your children are online and they accidentally click on something, an ad or something that they shouldn't be clicking on, and then it takes them to a page that has inappropriate material. So OpenDNS helps us control that and filter what content comes into our network. So first, what is a DNS service? You might have heard that before. DNS stands for Domain Name Server. And basically what happens is when you go to a website, whitehouse.gov or cnn.com or disney.com or whatever website you go to, what happens is you send a request to your local service provider's DNS, domain name server, and you tell, and basically that message says, I'm trying to go to this website, disney.com, and please give me the address and show me how to get there. And then the DNS gives you back the address and the route that the information will take to get you to disney.com or whatever website you're going to go to. Now, instead of using your default service provider's DNS or domain name server, what we want to do is use OpenDNS, which is a free service for consumers that allows you to control or allows you to block certain content that you don't want to allow inside of your network. So real quick, first what you do is you go in, and in OpenDNS you set up a free account. So you can go in and just sign up for service. You can go to consumer, and then from there you can sign up for service. It'll be a free account, just an email and a password, and then we'll get into what you'll see next. Next, when you have your free account, you're going to have, and you log in, you're going to have a page like this, which is under home, you're going to see your network, and if you click on settings right here, if you click on the network and then choose the network, your home network there, it's going to open up your dashboard. Or actually, I think you go into settings here, you click on that, and then you click on web content filtering, and it's going to take you to your dashboard where you can change or control what content is filtered. You can come in and say you want a high level of filtering. It shows you what 27 categories it'll block, or moderate, or low, or none, but there's no use of none. You don't really have to use the service if you're not going to block anything. Or you can have a custom. In my case, I have a custom setting. And under my particular setting, the example I'm showing here, I'm blocking out academic fraud, alcohol, drugs, gambling, all kinds of stuff, nudity, pornography, web spam, adware, classifieds, hate and discrimination. So you can go customize what types of content you want to block out as you wish. If you scroll a little bit further down, you can have, there's a place where you can say block or always block, and you can add different websites that you always want to block. In my particular example, what I'm doing is I'm blocking all of the YouTube sites. And I'll show you in a little bit later that I actually have in my home network, some content is blocked, but some devices are allowed to go to YouTube. And my policy at home is anything like that, like YouTube, for example, is only allowed on the devices like the home TV, the devices that are going to be in a public place. Everyone can see what you're watching. You can't go into your little corner and watch anything on your own. But the default setting I have is YouTube is blocked. And YouTube is not just youtube.com. There's a whole bunch of websites, googlevideo.com, youtube-ui.i.google.com, youtube.com, and a whole bunch of them you can see over here. And it's kind of ironic that this is a YouTube video, but I'm talking about blocking YouTube. Anyways, we'll get into how you can set some exceptions to the rule a little bit later. But anyways, I have some sites that are blocked always, and I have some sites that are never blocked. And you can add those by putting the address that you want here. You can choose always block or never block, and then add domain, and it's going to add it to one of these two lists. And it might, on occasion, depending on what level of filters you have, it might block some stuff that you want actually to have access to. And so if you're using your computer at home and you happen to have blocked one of those sites, it'll show up a pop-up window that says, OpenDNS, your admin or your administrator has blocked access to the site, request access, and then it'll let you know, it'll let you send an email, I believe, to the network administrator saying, hey, please unblock this site. Or you can come here and just add the site name and add it so that it's not blocked. So Craigslist, for example, happened to be blocked when I set up with my filters. So now that's the first part of it. Now we have an OpenDNS account, but we need to tell everything in our network to only use these filters that we've added. So that's on your router side. So on the router, and I'm only showing this example, sorry, but it's only for an ASUS router. That's what I have at home. All modern routers have settings that you can go and add something similar to what I'm doing here, but I'll show you an example, and if you have a specific question, maybe I can answer, or you can search for just your specific router how to enable some of these filters. So number one, in the ASUS router under Advanced Settings, LAN, which is Local Area Network, there's a tab for DNS filter. And under DNS filter, you can come in here, you turn that on, and then you tell it your DNS filter address. And in this case, for OpenDNS, it's 208.67.222.222. And what that says is, it tells your router that whenever I request a site, go to this address, which is the OpenDNS address, and that is going to be my my DNS that I want to use. And now you route all of your requests to OpenDNS so that OpenDNS can then apply the filter and only send you back content for websites that you have approved or you're not blocking in your network. Now you can come in here and set exceptions, and in ASUS, in the ASUS router, if you scroll a little bit lower, it says client MAC address. You can click there and choose. It's going to show a bunch of devices, and you can go in and select the one you want, and then you can say no filtering and add it, and then go to the bottom and click apply. And what that'll do is that will say that if you get requests from this particular device, don't filter it. Just send it to the normal DNS that is provided with my service provider. Don't filter it through OpenDNS, but anything that is not excluded here by the no filter is going to go straight to OpenDNS, and that's basically how you can have exceptions. So for example, my work computer, my personal phone, my wife's phone, these are they're not filtered. They all content is allowed, but for anything else by default on the network, so mainly the kids' devices, and guests for that matter, they will be filtered by OpenDNS. And like I said, I also filter out YouTube, and the policy is I have a no filter on my smart TV. That way, if the kids want to watch a YouTube movie or a YouTube video, they can watch it in my home, but it has to be in the main TV in the living room. That way, it's a public space. Everyone is seeing what they're watching. They're not off into a corner doing what no one else can see. So that's the second part. So first part was setting up an OpenDNS account. The second part is telling your router to go to OpenDNS for your web traffic. The third part of that is how does OpenDNS know who you are and know that you should this is so and so, and I need to be blocking the content for this person's requests. So that's the last part here. In the ASUS, we're going to go to under WAN, which is Wide Area Network, and then there's a DDNS, Dynamic Domain Name Server, and under here you enable it, and then one of the options is going to be under the servers. You're going to choose OpenDNS. Now I happen to be using DNS-O-Matic for another reason, but one of those options here will be OpenDNS. And when you click on OpenDNS, you put in your username and your password, and basically what this does is it sends an email, not an email, it sends OpenDNS your address, telling it that this account, this username and password is associated with this IP address, which is your address that of your cable modem. So anything coming from your cable modem to OpenDNS through the setting here, it's going to know who you are, and when it receives a request from your address, it knows to apply the filters to it that way. And then there's also a manual update, so if it doesn't if your address doesn't change every 7 days, it's going to force an update to OpenDNS, tell it, hey, I'm still here, this is my address. And basically, why do you need to do this step? Because your address changes. Your IP address for your home network, for your cable modem, every time you reboot your cable modem, your service provider will give it a new address. And so OpenDNS needs to know what your address at all times, so it knows what to filter, what not to filter. So every time that happens and you get a new IP address for your home network, enabling this setup here is going to send OpenDNS your new IP address, or that way that OpenDNS can stay up to speed and keep filtering stuff for you. Hope this helped. This is the first of a 3-part series. The second one is going to be about parental controls on smart devices. And then the third one will be about a service called VidAngel. We'll get into those in the next couple episodes. So I ended the last video and I realized I forgot to add one more part to the video that is very important, which is internet access, or controlling internet access on children devices. So again, my example is with the ASUS. That's what I have. In my ASUS router, there's an ASUS router app available in iOS, for iOS and Android. If you download the app, it gives you some really nice controls that you can use to further protect your family. I'm sure other routers have something similar, but this example again is limited to ASUS. So if you log into the ASUS router app and use your username and password to log in to your router, down at the bottom is a family tab, and under family you can click add on the top, and you can give a category. So in my case I have kid or kids devices, and you have to tell them, of course, that kids are under 18. So I have kids devices. Under kids devices, at the top 3 dots, if you click that, you can edit devices, and when you click on edit devices, it's going to show you everything that's on the network, and you can then add what devices to the list. So in this case, I have 8 devices that my kids use, and those are all part of this group. Now, for this group, you can come in and say, you know what, I don't want them to be able to use the internet right now. You click on block internet access, and it's going to block those devices from accessing the net. Or better yet, you can click on schedule block. And under schedule block, you can go on a day-by-day basis, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And for each day, you can customize what times of the day you don't want them to be able to log into the internet. So in this particular case, I'm showing on Sundays from 10 p.m., 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 8 a.m. The internet would be blocked from their devices on Sundays. And so this way you can enforce a bedtime or a downtime where they're not taking their devices upstairs and you think they're sleeping, but really they're on the internet till 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, and then the next day they wake up, they're tired, they can't do homework, they can't go to school, they can't do anything. So anyways, forgot to add that to the main part of the video, so I added it here. Hopefully this is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, bye.